What's going on, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony2times, and we back with another video, man. And today we're gonna talk about the real paid in full. You know, Alpo Martinez, AZ Faison, Rich Porter. We all know the movie that Dame Dash, Cameron, and Wood Harris made. But at the end of the day, it's a real story behind that. These three young men grew up in Harlem in the midst of the crack era. You know, Alpo was from the east side of Harlem. AZ and Rich Porter kind of grew up together. They knew each other since real young. They lived not too far from each other. AZ was just a regular dude, you feel me? He wasn't too involved in the streets at first. He actually had a job at a cleaner's. You know, Rich, his sister said he been hustling since 12 years old, selling weed to the point he learned how to make hash, and then he progressed to bigger things, so he was very advanced. Alpo, he just had the eye of the tiger. He was in the streets. He was a Puerto Rican kid. Everybody thought he was black, but he actually was Puerto Rican, so he was able to maneuver a little bit more, see more because of his connection to that side, He was real flashy. He was a flashy guy. AZ, Rich, they wasn't too flashy. I mean, they liked their cars and stuff like that, but Alpo wanted the attention on him at all times. As these guys progressed in the game, well, let's start right here. AZ was working in the cleaners when he actually met his connect. His connect was a dude that just had it. He had it for the low. He had the best product in town. So AZ bought the product that he gave him to Rich to see what Rich would think of it. But at the time, Rich wasn't dealing with the particular product. So AZ had to branch off and start doing his own thing. At the time, Rich had another partner that later got killed that he was dealing with. But at the end of the day, Poe was also on the radar making moves coming up. They was hearing about him. Poe was able to come over there, meet up with them. They took a liking to him. Well, actually, Rich took more of a liking to him than AZ. AZ was real laid back, real skeptical of who he let in his circle. He was getting quiet money. But at the end of the day, AZ seen the opportunity with Alpo because he had that eye of the tiger and that street in him. So he started hitting them off. Him and Alpo started getting money together. Alpo liked it the way things was going. Rich was doing his own thing with his homeboy until he got killed. So after that, Rich got locked up, you see what I'm saying? So now it's just Alpo and AZ out here. AZ was able to buy a little spot called the Juke Joint that they had that was jumping. They said it was so much money coming through there. But with money, we know stick-up kids come. So the spot kept getting robbed, people getting shot at. AZ got tired of losing money. It was just a headache to him. So he told Poe, like, yo, if you could take back control over this spot, you can have it. Poe, having that eye of the tiger, like, yeah, I got it. Took over the spot, made it a gold mine, was able to do what he had to do for the spot, which included violence, whatever he had to do. Like I said, he had that eye of the tiger. Let's fast forward. These dudes, they got money, they got cars. They said they had so many cars it could fill up a parking garage. Rich comes home, he get right back to it, getting money, Rich was getting so much money to the point, these guys only 16, you gotta think about this. His first car was a BMW. They had cars galore, they just had cars everywhere. Let's get into the sad part of the story. So, AZ, being the type dude he was, as he stated in the interview, wanted to see everybody eat. His sister boyfriend comes home from prison. He pulls the dude up, give him a couple dollars, tell the dude, look, I got you, you ain't got to do nothing. I'm going to give you a young dude to run the block. The dude wasn't trying to hear that. Found AZ stash house, followed them to it. They went in there, they killed a lot of people, shot AZ multiple times. He got hit in his head, which he thought he was dead. So after this incident, after he survived, God was with him. He kind of backed up out of the game. He felt like the game changed. There wasn't no love in the streets no more. He started making little music. He just was on a different tip, you know what I mean? But of course, Rich and Alpo, they felt like, man, he tweaking. We gonna get this money. At the end of the day, y'all seen in the movie, y'all know him as Uncle Ice. Everybody know this part right here. When Rich was in the car, going off about his little brother. His little brother is real. It's a young man named Darnell Porter. Y'all think the uncle name was Uncle Ice, but his real name was Johnny. And he actually helped Preacher. For y'all that don't know who Preacher is, He was a notorious murderer from New York. They had something called the Preacher Crew. They had a torture chamber, which was in a basement where they tortured people and they extorted drug dealers. They kidnapped Darnell on his way to school, which they kept him in the basement, and they demanded Rich to pay them a big ransom. Rich had street money, but he had the kind of money they thought he had at the time. So, they chopped off Darnell's finger, sent it to a McDonald's. Y'all all seen it. It was just a lot going on. At this time, Poe, he down in D.C. making moves, meeting people, basically trying to see what's going on down there. That's when he ran into dudes like Wayne Perry, Big Head Gary, people like that, or Tank, Andre, So basically, AZ at the time, he messing with Rich's sister, he dealing with her, he trying to figure out how to get Darnell back. At the time, Alpo down here, he going to war. He got Wayne Perry as his enforcer, doing everything he could in D.C. But at the end of the day, Alpo and Rich was still messing around doing business together. Alpo came to New York with a guy named Big Head Gary. When he came to New York, he basically felt like Rich was taking him off. Rich wasn't giving him the right prices on the product, so he felt like Rich was stealing money from him. At the time, you had people like Rayford Evans that was getting a lot of money in D.C. So Alpo felt like he had to keep up with the demand, and his prices had to be right. So even though they was homies, this game cutthroat, we all got to remember, man. This the 80s, and that's why AZ said he felt bad. He said there wasn't no love in the streets no more. I'm giving y'all this story not to glorify it. Like I always say, not to condone drug selling or murder, but it's real, and it's real people that lives got messed up in this. Okay, so when Alpo go meet up with Rich, he asked Rich about the money. He said Rich lied to him. He got Big Head Gary to kill Rich. So they finds Rich's body. They go to the family house. The family think they saying they found Darnell. They found Rich. So after that, Preacher and them realized they couldn't get their money, so they actually killed Darnell. Sad story, man. Real story. I had to make it short because it's a long story, but that sums it up, man. Stay out the streets. Follow the new people. Be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell for uploads. Fam, y'all already know what it is. Love. Leave your comments below. Check out the links in the description.